I had a couple break-ins in my house, and it left me with a feeling of a lot of thoughts about violence, about guns, about frustration, about protecting your family, lingering feelings that you're left with. And I thought it'd be some kind of spark to make an action movie and a bit of fantasy role playing. Because in real life, you know, you should do what I did, which is keep the damage and the violence to a minimum and get the heck out of the way. But the truth is, you know, afterwards you're left with a feeling of, I wonder what I could have done if I had to, and I kind of wish I'd had to. This character, he's a bit of an unhinged guy. I mean, he is almost as far as you could say an anti-hero. He is a difficult guy. He's been acting as a dad and a good citizen, but he's been swallowing a lot of frustration for the length of this time where he's hiding out. It's a persona that he's taken on willingly. He wants to be a dad. He wants to have a family. He wants to be a part of society. There's a sense, the story that is told a little over halfway through the movie where he talks about having been a violent person, giving somebody a chance to go back to the life of a good citizen, and watching that person do that successfully and thinking, wow, if he can do it, maybe I could too. You know, there's a feeling I have that a person who's broken through to a place of violence in the world and sees the world that way, maybe somebody who served in the armed forces, or in this case, my character, you could say, did special ops work, that person might feel distanced from a regular person who never did that and doesn't have that as part of their life and wouldn't allow it in, violence and pushing and hitting and shooting and violent reaction. And so I had this sense that this guy would have the feelings that I had times 10. And so he's really unhinged. Chris Lloyd, I mean, we needed somebody to play my dad, and somebody who had a wild hair in them, a feeling of like, that guy's crazy, he could do crazy. There's a number of older actors who you could imagine we thought of, but oh my God, nobody like Chris Lloyd fills that bill. Nobody brings that sense of chaos and mayhem that might break out, as well as a twinkle in his eye, like a real delight in craziness happening around him. Ilya Naishuller is the director of Nobody, and he's from Russia, and he made a movie about 3 years ago called Hardcore Henry that he made for nothing. And Ilya had told his agent, I would like to make, I'm going to try to quote him right, I would like to make an action movie with an actor who does drama who used to be a comedian. And so I guess I was tailor-made for his dream. And then we had this great script from Derek, and we were thrilled to have Ilya, who's a funny, interesting guy, and he just made it sing. To me, the fun of doing this and the challenge of it is to learn that new set of skills. So I also knew I had to get right into it. So thankfully we had Kelly McCormick interested and on board as a producer, and she and David Leitch are connected to a group of stunt people here called 8711, the best stunt people in the world as far as I'm concerned. And they had one of those people, Daniel Bernhardt, who's I think maybe the best stunt actor in the business, and you might know him from Atomic Blonde. There's a huge fight he does with Charlize Theron. It's really another level, and Daniel's the best. And he's also an actor, so he was able to really relate to me and my journey into doing stunts. And we trained 3 times a week I had to drive down to the airport, which is where their facility is, and train for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And I did that for 2 years before we made this movie. I'm excited for you to go on a crazy adventure and get swept up in the rage and violence and excitement and explosions and revenge of a regular guy who gets to act out this fantastic, very unrealistic action story.